Something lies silently beneath the ice of millennia, a world forgotten or deliberately buried. Antarctica is not merely a land of frost. It may be the gateway to a truth humanity is not ready to face. Antarctica, the end of the Earth where the wind howls and the cold can kill in mere minutes, is not as desolate as we once thought. Beneath the silent ice lie unimaginable things, bizarre structures, lightless creatures, vast underground rivers, and mysterious ruins as if pulled from legend. This is not just the land of penguins and whiteout blizzards. It is a doorway into the past, or perhaps a future untouched by science. Recent discoveries have shocked the world. A ship lost for over a century found nearly intact. Subterranean lakes sealed for millions of years containing bacteria that consume atmospheric gases. Jagged mountain ranges buried under kilometers of ice and an underground river system that could impact global sea levels. Beyond that, researchers have uncovered anomalies like the Blood Falls, where crimson water gushes from the ice, and strange structures in inexplicable shapes prompting questions. Is Antarctica just a continent? Or the remains of a lost civilization? Every block of ice, every gust of wind across this land could be whispering an untold secret. A secret that, if revealed, might overturn the entire history of humankind. Now let us embark on the journey 15 of the most mysterious and shocking discoveries ever made in Antarctica. Part 1. The Ghost Ship Endurance, the Restless Spirit of the Ice. January 1915. The Weddell Sea was a maze of living ice giant ice floes, drifting like jagged teeth preparing to close. In the midst of this scene, the Endurance, pride of the British Empire, carrying 28 men and a dream to conquer Antarctica via an overland crossing, became trapped. Each day the thick ice squeezed tighter, like the hand of an ancient leviathan slowly crushing its prey. All efforts to save the ship failed. Planks bent and cracked masts fell with splintering snaps. By October that year, the Endurance was completely destroyed, then sank beneath the eternal ice, dragging all hope with it. The world believed it had vanished forever, surviving only in pages of books and legend. But deep in the cold sea beyond the reach of light, the ship still existed, not as rubble, but as a structure with a soul sealed in silence, awaiting the moment it could be seen again. In March 2022, more than a century later, the unimaginable happened. A modern archaeological team armed with the most advanced detection technology discovered the wreck of the Endurance nearly 3,000 meters beneath the sea ice. What shocked them was not just the location, but its condition, almost perfectly preserved. The hull stood proud, the wood untouched by rot, decorative details still visible, as if time had folded around it. A ship thought crushed by history appeared, as if it had just left port yesterday. Divers described the experience as though they weren't exploring ruins, but awakening a sleeping being. The ice didn't destroy Endurance, it preserved it, as if this place wanted to pass along a message. And that was Antarctica's first whisper: it does not forget, it does not forgive, and no one leaves without leaving a piece of their soul behind. But beneath the ice lies more than memory. Strange life forms unknown to human biology also await. Part 2. Air-eating bacteria. Life from the void. On a frigid morning at the end of 2020, a research team at Robinson's Ridge in East Antarctica, where the wind never stops and the ground cracks like glass at sunset, unexpectedly collected a soil sample containing something alive, a form of life that should not exist. No light, no liquid water, no organic matter. Yet in that ancient frozen soil, they discovered two completely new bacterial groups, WPS2 and AD3. These organisms survive by absorbing inorganic gases from the air, hydrogen carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide. They eat air to live, something found in no biology textbook before. The temperature where they were found was often below -40 degrees ultraviolet radiation at lethal levels, and the soil drier than the Atacama Desert. Yet they were there, proof that life is not born from favorable conditions, but from absolute persistence. They are not merely bacteria, they may be relics of the most primordial life forms. Their bizarre existence expands not only the definition of life on Earth, but also forces astronomers to reconsider the universe. If bacteria can thrive in such extremes in Antarctica, then icy moons like Europa or Enceladus with saltwater beneath ice shelves might also harbour unconventional life. These tiny beings at Robinson's Ridge may be the first extraterrestrial life model discovered at home. More disturbingly, they're not new. They may have existed for millions of years, silently adapting, silently evolving, while the world above spun through human history. If something more ancient than humanity lives beneath our feet, are we the newcomers? Antarctica is no longer a dead land. It is a massive genetic library holding clues to the origin and future of life. And while these tiny organisms live on, deep below a massive unseen structure rumbles in silence. Part 3. The Ghost Mountains. Peaks sealed in ice. In 2008, a scientific team under the IceCap exploration program conducted radar surveys beneath Antarctica's ice sheet. The initial goal was simple to determine ice thickness and underlying structure, but what the radar revealed left the world stunned. Beneath more than 2.5 kilometers of ice stood a rugged, towering mountain system, the Gamburtsev Range. The shock came not only from its size, stretching hundreds of kilometers and as tall as the Alps, but from its preservation the peaks showed no erosion, no signs of rivers' wind or glaciers ever touching them. They seemed perfectly sealed in frozen rock, as if a great force had cast a sheet of ice over them. Time did not wear them down. No one knows why the mountains are there. No one dares guess what lies deeper. A mountain range hidden so well it seems intentional. And the question is no longer, where did it come from, but what is it waiting to reveal? Even stranger is the uncertainty of their age. Some geologists say they formed 1 billion years ago, while rock samples suggest rapid formation during the last ice age. If the latter is true, they are evidence of an event modern science cannot replicate: total glaciation within just a few millennia. No erosion, no gradual ice buildup. Everything froze suddenly, like a global pause button was pressed. A more pressing question is, could a geological or unnatural force have created that enormous seal? And if that seal melts, what lies in the rock might awaken. Ancient river systems, exotic minerals, or even life forms beyond the control of time. The Gamburtsev Range is not merely rock, it's a cage, and perhaps something inside is beginning to stir. Part 4. Doomsday Glacier. When the sea holds its final breath. On the western edge of Antarctica, nestled between icy cliffs and sleepless winds, the Thwaites Glacier lies in wait. Spanning over 120 kilometers wide, and with an area equal to the United Kingdom, Thwaites is not just a mass of ice. It is the final gate holding the stability of all West Antarctica. But satellite data over the last decade has shown this massive glacier is collapsing. From below, warm seawater is seeping into cracks, silently eroding its base, the grounding line where ice meets bedrock. As this line recedes, a domino effect begins, irreversible. Once Thwaites breaks from its anchor, everything behind it will collapse, like a towering ice fortress plunging into the ocean. The result, global sea levels could rise by up to 3 meters. Cities like New York, Tokyo, Amsterdam will have no time to react, maybe sooner. It is called the Doomsday Glacier, not because it's fiction, but because it's a warning. Scientists no longer debate whether Thwaites will collapse, only when. Submarine sensors and thermal probes placed beneath the glacier have all sounded the alarm. Warm water flow is accelerating. In some places, temperatures exceed safe thresholds by 3 degrees. But what alarms researchers more is the discovery of horizontal cracks forming at the center. Early signs of full structural failure. Thwaites is not just melting, it's fracturing from within, as if an unseen pressure from deep below is pushing upward. A movement never before seen in any ice system. And if Thwaites falls, all of West Antarctica loses its hold. An ancient wall between ocean and land torn apart. the sea will flood in and land will vanish. We are witnessing a phenomenon both ancient and modern, the collapse of the glacial order. But what could cause a frozen giant like Thwaites to tremble? Part 5. The Icy Pyramid. Remains of a buried civilization. In July 2009, a terrain survey team used high-resolution satellite images to map Antarctic ice in the Ellsworth region. Amid thousands of surface simulations, one peculiar structure stood out, a four-sided symmetrical pyramid, hundreds of meters tall. When magnified and analyzed, engineers were stunned. Its shape resembled an Egyptian pyramid, with nearly equal triangular faces, a sharp apex and angles matching handcrafted ancient architecture. The question exploded: was this a geological formation or a man-made structure? Conservative scientists quickly proposed a theory of symmetrical ice mountain formed by wind erosion, yet none could explain why it was the only one of its kind in the area. No nearby ranges shared its form, no chain of similar structures, just one, like a sealed ancient pillar. If it's natural, it's a geological marvel. If artificial, who built it? And when? The pyramid's existence sparked bold theories. Some fringe archaeologists suggest it may be the ruins of a prehistoric civilization, tens of thousands of years old, from a time when Antarctica wasn't frozen. Some sources mention a shift in Earth's axis causing a temperate Antarctic climate. If true, was this frozen land once inhabited by humans, or another intelligent form of life? Others dared think further. The structure doesn't belong to Earth's past, then where did it come from? Another planet, another dimension, or perhaps from a lost chapter, never recorded. The silence of this land makes every speculation both terrifying and alluring. Whether natural or man-made, the presence of a pyramid in Antarctica strikes a blow to our understanding of geography, history, and civilization. And if it's just the tip of the iceberg, what sleeps deeper beneath the silent ice? Part 6. The South Sandwich Trench, Earth's open maw. In the 1980s, amid quiet seismic monitoring missions by international navies, attention turned to an unusual area in the South Atlantic. Hidden near the South Sandwich Islands, not far from Antarctica, lies one of Earth's deepest fractures, the South Sandwich Trench. Nearly 400 meters deep, it is more than a fissure. It's where two colossal tectonic plates collide, one sliding beneath the other, opening a tunnel down into Earth's mantle. Under sonar scanning, the trench appeared like a gaping jaw, waiting to swallow anything that fell in. But what truly unnerved scientists was its geodynamic nature. The area hosts active underwater volcanoes, methane eruptions at extreme heat, and superheated water weaving into the cold ocean. A massive fault zone capable of influencing the entire Antarctic plate's motion. A machine in operation, but beyond anyone's control. And no one knows if it holds more than the planet's primal heat. There's a reason geophysicists call it the belly button of instability. Every tremor from the South Sandwich Trench can ripple thousands of kilometers, disturbing overlying ice structures, triggering chain reactions that cleave Antarctic shelves into the sea. In modern geological timescales, if there's a single factor capable of setting off a cascade, from quakes, ice collapse to seabed sinking, it's the tectonic activity here. But what's more mysterious are seismic signals from the trench that don't match any known earthquake model. Some experts speculate the presence of hollow underground chambers, like sound resonance chambers, or worse, compressed energy pockets from past crustal cycles. That place quite literally is Earth's mouth opening wide. But if it's more than the end of tectonic plates, and a vault of something more ancient than geology itself, are we digging too close to something that shouldn't be awakened? Part 7. Ancient DNA. Genetic memories from a dead sea. In 2019, during a geological survey mission under the International Ocean Discovery Program in the Scotia Sea near the Antarctic continent, a team of scientists accidentally drilled into a special sediment layer deep under the ocean floor. The sample seemed unremarkable, grey mud mixed with gravel ice and oxidized chemicals. But back in the lab, genetic decoding revealed the unthinkable. Inside were intact DNA strands, over 1 million years old. These were the oldest marine environmental genetic sequences ever discovered, and not from ancient bacteria. They belong to eukaryotes, life forms with cell nuclei like plants, animals, and humans. Specifically, most of the DNA came from diatoms, photosynthetic plankton foundational to many oceanic food chains. The immediate question, how could such delicate strands survive such deep time, high pressure, near freezing temperatures, and a total lack of oxygen? Analysis of the ancient DNA revealed something odd: cycles of diatom biomass repeating across millions of years, reflecting major global climate shifts. These turned the genetic material into a living journal of Earth's warming periods, ice ages, and even mass extinction phases. But more intriguingly, damage patterns in the DNA, microscopic tears along the double helix, matched those caused by radiation found in outer space. Could these ancient plankton have lived near hydrothermal ocean vents, where high-energy emissions mimicked cosmic radiation? Or possibly, just possibly, did they endure a global cataclysm, never documented, powerful enough to leave a molecular scar? Each sequence is an untold memory, and if they remain intact today, who knows how many more living memories lie buried in the depths beneath Antarctica, from eras long before humans ever walked the Earth. Part 8. The massive subglacial river, a hidden circulatory system beneath white ice. In a radar reconnaissance mission in 2022, British and American researchers made an astonishing discovery beneath more than 2 kilometers of Antarctic ice. An actual river is flowing, not a frozen stream or narrow groundwater pocket, but a vast subglacial river system over 460 kilometers long, meandering under the terrain, draining a watershed the size of France and Germany combined. They named it the Super Subglacial River, not only for its colossal scale, but because it connects 4 major ice sheets, Muller Academy Foundation, and Support Force. It flows constantly under millennia-old ice pressure, completely hidden from sight. Its discovery was a turning point. It turns out beneath our feet, Antarctica is still breathing, through a concealed hydrological system masked by time and silence. But what sent chills down scientists' spines was not just its size or melting potential, but its destination. The river's outlet lies exactly where the largest ice masses meet the ocean floor, at the so-called grounding line. This is the weakest point determining whether the ice remains anchored or slides into the sea. The river not only flows like blood through veins beneath the ice, but may also erode from below, reducing the friction that holds ice to bedrock. If the water suddenly surges, due to global warming or underwater volcanic heat, a domino effect will follow, ice cracking, sliding, shattering, and crashing into the ocean. And if this is Antarctica's blood, then a planetary-scale internal hemorrhage may already be silently underway. We can't see it, we can't hear it, but the ground beneath is shifting, and when an ancient flow changes direction, even the phytoplankton must adapt. Beneath the ice that only appears dead. Part 9. Phytoplankton beneath ice. Living light in the darkness. From 2014 to 2021, thousands of dives by autonomous research floats, known as BGC Argo, were conducted beneath Antarctica's eternal ice. The goal was to collect data on temperature, light, and the presence of plankton, especially phytoplankton, tiny photosynthetic organisms usually found at the ocean's surface. But the results baffled scientists. In complete darkness, beneath meters of thick ice, phytoplankton not only survived, they bloomed in explosive biological outbursts. They absorbed light, seeping through ice fissures, an amount thought insufficient for sustaining life, and photosynthesized as if in a tropical sea. This shattered previous assumptions that Antarctica was a light dead zone in winter. They don't just survive, they flourish, produce oxygen, and support other life forms below. A tiny, resilient ecosystem breathes steadily, just beneath the silent ice. These surprise blooms extend beyond Antarctica. They force global climate models to revise data on carbon absorption and oceanic nutrient cycles. These organisms are frontline carbon scrubbers, and they are actively functioning in what humans assumed were hopeless conditions. But more importantly, this discovery raises a question beyond Earth. If phytoplankton can live, and photosynthesize in the cold darkness of Antarctica. What prevents them, or their analogues, from thriving on Europa Enceladus or other frozen ocean worlds? Their ability to adapt to darkness, use stray light, and sustain biological cycles makes them living proof of life's flexibility. Antarctica may not be a dead zone, but an experimental lab for new life forms where survival evolves in silence and isolation. But as the ice melts, these species may flourish even more or vanish forever. Part 10. Ancient forest fires. When Antarctica burned. In March 2023, during a geology campaign under the Chile-Brazil Antarctic Archaeology Program, an unexpected discovery was announced on King George Island. Scientists found charred wood fragments fossilized in sedimentary rock from the Cretaceous period, around 75 million years ago, that in a place now covered in ice and stone forests once existed, dense enough to sustain large-scale wildfires. Carbon traces in the charred samples showed prolonged burning, not short or random blazes. The carbonized wood, rich in clay and minerals typical of incinerated plants, suggested Antarctica once had a dry and hot season. In our imagination, Antarctica has always been a frozen land since Earth's beginning, but this find shatters that assumption. Earth once had a very different Antarctica, warm green and flammable. But why did those forests vanish? What changed the polar climate so drastically? The answer may lie in nearby volcanic layers. Geochemical evidence showed that at the same time as the charcoal, there was a spike in volcanic ash and sulfur particles. This hints at a series of massive eruptions, possibly from the very volcanoes now buried under Antarctic ice. Explosive gas and ash could have blanketed the atmosphere, reduced global temperatures, and triggered a cascade leading to permanent freezing. From a burning forest, Antarctica became an ice prison. But what's strange is that the fires seem cyclical, like a natural biological response to environmental pressure. Forests burn, volcanoes erupt, ice takes over, as if Earth rebalances itself with fire, then cold. And if that happened before, who's to say the volcanoes sleeping under today's ice won't awaken again, triggering a new reset cycle, one that begins not with rain, but with black flames rising from the frozen deep. Part 11. The mysterious hole. A gateway opened through eternal ice. In September 2017, during one of Antarctica's harshest winters in years, an image from NASA's MODIS satellite stunned the scientific community. Right in the middle of the Weddell Sea ice sheet, where the ice was solid as a fortress, a massive hole over 3,700 km² suddenly appeared. This phenomenon was called a polynia, an open water area within sea ice. But this time, it was no minor occurrence. It was as wide as a city. More strangely, it did not vanish within days, but persisted for 2 months in the coldest season. Weather models failed to explain it. No unusual currents, no known underwater volcanoes, only fierce cyclonic storms colliding at just the right point, tearing the ice open like a temporary gate between sky and sea. It wasn't a crack, it was a void, a question mark drawn onto a blank map. Oceanographers grew increasingly concerned when they realized that such polynias not only destabilize the ice sheet, but also dramatically affect oceanic thermal circulation. As the ice is ripped open, cold, salty water rises while warm, deep-sea water slips in. This inversion accelerates basal melting, quietly and dangerously. But the most haunting aspect comes from biology. In these open voids, researchers found explosive bursts of biomass, microbes, algae, plankton, emerging, reproducing and vanishing as the ice reforms, as if the gateway didn't just open to water, but to life, or a kind of life yet unrecorded, a cycle of opening, living, closing, disappearing, repeating, without any clear pattern. Some scientists believe this might be Antarctica's natural breathing mechanism, but if so, who or what controls that rhythm? And if polynias are mouths, how many eyes are still closed, waiting for the right time to open and peer out from beneath the deep ice? Part 12. The Ring of Fire, where ice and volcanoes share a bed. In 2017, a team of geologists from the University of Edinburgh conducted ice-penetrating radar surveys and seismic analysis in West Antarctica. They weren't searching for volcanoes, but what appeared on their screens silenced the lab nearly 100 cone-shaped peaks arranged in a chain, buried beneath more than 2 kilometers of ice. This discovery revealed that West Antarctica, once thought geologically stable, actually sits atop a massive hidden ring of fire. Some peaks reach nearly 4,000 meters comparable to the Alps, yet all remain concealed, imprisoned in ice. Researchers believe the thick ice suppresses magma from reaching the surface, but that same ice is thinning due to climate change, and when pressure drops low enough, as happened in Iceland and Alaska, these volcanoes may awaken. What happens if the ice melts from below by seawater and from above by magma? More than a threat, the presence of dozens of subglacial volcanoes raises a question. Are they the very reason West Antarctica's ice melts faster than elsewhere? Some geothermal monitoring stations have detected unusual heat spreading around these peaks, though no surface eruptions have been observed. But the bigger picture lies deeper. This volcanic chain follows an ancient rift system, the West Antarctic Rift System, similar to massive faults that once birthed new continents in Earth's history. Could Antarctica be in a dormant stage of tectonic rebirth? A continent preparing to split, forming new seas, islands and climates. It might take thousands of years, or a series of domino effects. Melting, cracking hydro shifts could accelerate the process. When ice thins and pressure drops, magma chambers won't stay sealed. And when fire touches ice, not only Earth will change, but everything we know about natural balance will need rewriting. Part 13, the PIRI REIS map, a memory stream ahead of its time. In 1929, inside a quiet archive room in Istanbul's Topkapi Palace, an ancient map was rediscovered among forgotten documents. It was a naval chart created by Admiral PIRI REIS in 1513. Initially dismissed as a crude maritime sketch from the age of exploration, modern geographers overlaid it with satellite images and were stunned. The map not only detailed the southeastern coast of South America with astounding accuracy, but also depicted the coastline of a continent unknown at the time, Antarctica. The most baffling detail, the coastline shown, was ice-free. It revealed clear topography, mountain ranges, deep bays, rugged shorelines, aligning with modern under-ice data down to tens of kilometers. How could a 16th century map depict the terrain beneath Antarctica's ice sheet when the continent wasn't discovered until 300 years later and its subsurface only surveyed with radar in the 20th century? PIRI REIS's only explanation: he copied this map from ancient lost documents, including sources from Greece, Egypt, and a civilization with no name. Some scholars boldly argue this is proof of a prehistoric advanced civilization, one that existed before Antarctica froze. People who lived in the southern land capable of measuring, mapping, and preserving geographical data. Then, as the Ice Age struck, all was buried. What remained were fragments hidden in replicas and forgotten texts. Some theories go further. The map is evidence that ancient navigation and observation once surpassed modern knowledge, or that we are only following a cycle of progress that once existed and was erased. If Antarctica was once ice-free, inhabited and mapped by human hands, then history must be rewritten, not in chronological order, but by layers of ice. And sometimes what we call a mystery is merely a forgotten chapter waiting to be opened. Part 14, Blood Falls, a red stream in a white desert. In 1911, geologist Griffith Taylor discovered a phenomenon that stunned his entire expedition from within the frigid Taylor Glacier. A deep red liquid poured over the snow like a gaping wound bleeding through the ice. Initially assumed to be red algae science, later confirmed it was hypersaline brine, rich in iron, trapped beneath the glacier for millions of years. When it surfaces and the iron oxidizes, the flow turns crimson like fresh blood. Even more astonishing, the subglacial lake beneath has never frozen despite 17 degrees Celsius temperatures, thanks to extreme pressure and salinity. This place is entirely cut off from the surface. No light, no oxygen, no organic matter from above. Yet, it harbours life. Water samples from bloodfalls revealed a community of extremophile microorganisms, living by converting iron and sulfur, not light or carbon. It is a closed world, primitive, isolated, ancient as Earth's beginnings. These microorganisms don't just survive, they thrive in conditions once deemed impossible. Their genetic structure differs sharply from surface life. They are evidence of an independent evolutionary path, needing no light, no atmosphere, only an electron source to sustain vital chemical reactions. For astrobiologists, this is the perfect model for life on frozen worlds beyond our solar system, like Europa Titan or Enceladus. Bloodfalls is living proof of the hypothesis that subglacial lakes can host alien life, but more profoundly, it shows life need not begin in comfort. It can originate in hardship, exist in isolation, and endure through the most ancient instinct of absolute adaptation. That red stream is a crack in modern understanding, like a drop of Earth's blood on ice, reminding us that even a place long thought dead still breathes. And nearby, an even stranger creature has just been discovered beneath Antarctica's seafloor. Part 15. The 20-armed creature, an alien beast beneath frozen seas. During a deep-sea survey off Antarctica in 2022, marine biologists from the University of California, San Diego discovered a bizarre creature, unlike any previously recorded in the region. It had a small body around 8 inches long, but its most striking feature was its arms, not 5, not 10, but 20 branching appendages arranged symmetrically like a spinning vortex. They called it the Antarctic strawberry feather star, because each arm ended in soft pink nodules resembling strawberries. The arms help it swim and anchor to the seafloor amid frigid currents. What amazed researchers wasn't just its alien appearance, but the fact that it had never been seen before, even though the area had been surveyed many times. This suggested Antarctica might hold an entire seafloor ecosystem humanity has never touched. When researchers compared its genes to other feather stars, they found not just one, but 4 new species identified simultaneously, all thriving in the cold, deep waters around Antarctica. This boosted the number of known endemic feather star species in the region from 1 to 8, a biological leap. These alien-like creatures not only survive temperatures below 0 degrees, but also endure pressures hundreds of times that of Earth's atmosphere. In evolutionary terms, they are living fossils, surviving ice ages, magnetic pole shifts, and mass extinctions with minimal change. Perhaps Antarctica, isolated for millions of years, became the final refuge for the planet's most ancient life forms. Or perhaps it is a nursery for unknown species still evolving in ways humans cannot comprehend. Either way, every creature discovered here is a reminder this planet still holds many untold stories. And this story is only the first chapter. The expedition throughout this video has been a grand journey beyond the limits of knowledge and imagination. From the discovery of the legendary Endurance, an unyielding symbol of courage and perseverance, to strange microorganisms that can consume air and ghost mountains, sealed under eternal ice. Every discovery in Antarctica is a puzzle piece helping us redefine life history and Earth's future. We have seen a colossal underground river flowing beneath the icy crust like a living vein, blood-red lakes revealing chemical and biological secrets frozen for millions of years, and even sleeping volcanoes that may threaten us when awakened by climate change. All of this reveals a submerged world, vibrant, complex, and full of surprises. Antarctica is not merely a frozen wasteland, but a time machine preserving the footprints of lost eras, a vast natural laboratory through which humanity glimpses its future, and a lingering mystery that challenges modern science and ancient understanding alike. If one day you were offered the chance to join a new expedition to Antarctica, not to explore, but to prevent a global catastrophe triggered by what is now melting, would you dare face it? Will you be the one to record the truth, or become another piece of the next buried mystery? So then, what awaits in the next chapter of Antarctica's exploration? A lost civilization, an awakening ancient creature, or the Earth's final warning to humanity?